Hello there! In this presentation I'll be going over where I got up to in my 3D animation project, as well as showing what I did for the alternative assignment. So, the initial brief for the project was to create a 3D model based off a 2D illustration. So my first thought was to do a stylized Jessica Rabbit style illustration. However, this ended up being scrapped as the 3D character had to be based off an illustration that hadn't already been converted into 3D. My next thought was to do a simple character from the children's book Paco and the Drum, illustrated by Matthew Forsyth. The simple shape construction of the characters and textures would have translated very well for this project, but I ended up signing against it due to the head and face being an awkward shape that would have been hard to translate into 3D. My final idea was to do some Stephen Cartwright illustration from his children's cookbook series. They were a style that I believe I could emulate very well, and I actually ended up making a 3D model based off one of the characters. The reason I didn't end up developing this character any further was because I wanted to challenge myself a bit more and create a more difficult design to really showcase my abilities. So the illustrator that I ended up going with was Meg Park, a children's book illustrator. Her designs made me think of Disney and Pixar style concept artwork, so I thought it would be an amazing place to jump off from. The character I ended up going with was a central character in this set of three 80s women. I ended up calling her Frankie because of her shirt. And her design was something I believed I could really sink my teeth into and play with. So because of this, I started doing some turnaround illustrations. As well as this, I also looked at perhaps altering the outfit so it would be easier to model. Ultimately I went against this though, just because it wasn't a problem. So my first pass on the 3D model wasn't the most successful. It ended up being too flat and not looking right. In actuality, it looked quite scary. But after learning from this, I was able to successfully create a much better 3D model that I think really captured the feeling of Meg Park's illustrations much more. And then after this, I was able to fully UV map it and rig my character, and I got it to a place I really liked until... At this point in the project, I ran into some catastrophic technical issues. I wasn't able to use Maya or any Adobe products, and without the whole computer flashing white and being unusable, it deleted some of my files. So I had to figure out what I needed to do from this point. Not being one to give up easily, I started my alternative assignment, which was a stop-motion animation. Not being something I'd done before, I was a bit challenged, but it was a really fun experience nonetheless. What I ended up doing for this project was creating a transition of a character from little bits of paper to a very simple 2D cutout attached to a wire skeleton. And then from this I developed it into a final 3D model of my character's head and bust, finally putting my art A level to good use. Overall, this project was both really fun and challenging, but I had a great learning experience nonetheless. I really enjoyed things like drawing the turnaround, modelling the head, the face was really satisfying, and then UV mapping was like a fun but frustrating puzzle. I had an amazing time not only with this project and the alternative assignment, but with the whole of the first year, and I'm really excited to start second year where things are a bit more normal, hopefully. With that, thank you for looking at my 3D animation project.